Okay, so you want to know about how we try to get kills, and what's cool here is some of the terminology we're going to use is based on, we named it after former players, or whether they're Husker players or other players that do these shots. So these are shots that we train and try to give, as we say, we try to give our players a toolbox. Okay, so they come to work every day with their toolbox, and they got all these tools in them, and these are their shots, and how they want to, how are they going to use them in certain situations. So the first one is going to be Madi Kubik right here, and Madi is going to hit what we call Roboshot, which is named after Kelsey Robinson. So she's going to come out here, and so here comes the shot, and what she's going to try to do right here is this middle blocker is a little late. So you can see she's not closed out there yet. So as she's coming, you try to hit into that middle blocker. And when you hit into that late middle blocker, you usually get a bad deflection because they're flying out. And here's Madi, you can see it gets a bad deflection and flies over the top. The next one is what we call a Logan Shot. So a Logan Shot was named after Logan Tom, who beat us in 2001 in the Final Four. She's one of the greatest players ever to play college volleyball. She played in the Olympics. And here we go. So here's going to be a transition play. And this is a shot she made famous. So Madi is, as you can see, she is facing this digger right here, but she's going to chop the ball down the line. And there it is. So it's kind of a show one thing and then cut it the other way.
So it's like basketball's no look?
Yep, it's like a no look right there. It's a great shot. She's actually hitting the side of the ball. She hits the side of the ball and kind of cuts it down the line. So a lot of times we'll catch the right hand of the blocker. And again, several players do this to us too. It's hard to defend. So it's called a Logan Shot. It was named after Logan Tom. And she basically beat us in 2001, hitting that shot a lot. Okay, another thing we work on is, especially if the set's tight, is what we call a jam. See what Madi, we get a touch here. Here's a transition play. So Madi's a little bit tight. She's going to take the ball and jam it somewhere into space, or jam it off a blocker's hand. So you can see she's got space right there. So she's just taking an open hand and trying to jam it down on the court through that, between those blockers. That's a great shot. So that set's probably pretty tight right there. So if she were to hit it, she would probably get blocked. So if she can just take it and try to find space and jam it in there, that's a great adjustment on a tight set. Okay, the next one, we call this Highline, You're a Goddess. And what she's going to try to do here is probably be an out-of-system set, and she's going to try to turn and blast it off the hands of the block. So here we're playing Penn State, and she's going to turn and rotate her body. So this isn't a Logan Shot where she's cutting the ball. This is, she's trying to blast it high off those hands. And that's exactly what she does. So a little bit, you can say, when I say out of system, you can see where Nicklин's setting from. She's about 11 feet off the net. So it's going to be a little out of system. So Madi is coming up the sideline here. You can see how she's coming up inside the sideline, and she's just going to turn, rotate, and hit it off those hands.
What is high line?
High line means she's, we say high line because we don't want to hit low line. So we're trying to hit high off their hands. Okay? And so, and again, each blocker is a little different depending on how tall they are, so they got to find those hands and hit it. We needed to do a little bit more of that against Wisconsin, but it's harder when, you know, you got a 6'8" blocker up there. You really got to aim high. So this is a attack that'll be over here on the right side, and sometimes when you're a right-hander coming up here, you just tend to hit straight. So we try to teach our players to rotate their body one way or rotate the other way. So let's see what Madi does here. So she's going to rotate her body and hit away from her body. So you can see her body is rotating and her arm's going to go away from her body. So this is a kind of a no-look shot. And she tools the outside hand. So it looks like, if you look at this, it looks like she's going to come cross court. In the last second, she's just going to rotate and hit down the line.
How elite is that?
That's very elite, yeah. It's something we train all the time. And some players pick it up. It's really important for for right-handers hitting behind the setter or on the right side of the court, or as we call the red zone, it's really important for them to learn that shot. Okay, this next one is what we call a wipe. So this is, again, a tough play. And so you can see where Nicklin's setting from. It's a tough pass. So Nicklin's on her knees trying to throw this ball up. So we're out of system now. So now we got to create. And this ball puts Madi in a really tough spot because it's going tight to the net, and she's expecting it farther off the net because we really want to set it right here. But Nicklin, again, you can see Nicklin's on the ground. So it was a tough play. So the question is, what does Madi do now? And she can't, she's got to avoid getting blocked. So she's going to do what we call wipe. She's going to take it, and she's just going to kind of throw it into that elbow right there of that blocker. And I'm trying to think of, you can see how far that ball's in front of Madi. She had a hard time getting to it because it's tight. So she's just going to try to take it and wipe it off the elbow of the blocker. And this is what little outside hitters do a really good job of because they're shorter. And again, when you have a bigger block, and this is Purdue's one of their biggest blockers over here, they give you a lot of target area to hit that and try to wipe it off their elbow. So it's a really great shot. Again, there's no defense for it. All right, we call this amber drill. All right, or an amber set or amber swing. And it's after Amber Rolfson. And this is a drill we created for her to help her become a better hitter. So you can see what happens is we call this a bang bang play. It's going to be a very fast play. The setter dumps it here. Whitney gets it up. Okay, you can see it's super low. So Nicklin's bump setting this from the ground. So it's bang, bang. So now Madi does not have time to approach. So she's just going to have to react to wherever this ball goes. So we call this amber. So she loads here, and she's going to do what we call step close. So right here, you're going to see her get her feet to the ball and be able to hit. This is a really big time hit right here. So she's going to get her feet there. You can see she jumps to it. She gets her arms back, which is really important. That allows her to lift and get up. And she's going to rip this ball. And she just blows up this libero here.